Here we are now looking at the Knicks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. On this page, I'm showing you their head-to-head matchup, and how funny is this? Another opponent in which we could potentially get over in the head-to-head matchup. As you could see, the Oklahoma City Thunder have 68 wins against us, and we have 67 against them. Of course, this is going back to the days of the Supersonics, and then I think in 2005 they became the Oklahoma City Thunder. First pick was Russell Westbrook. Of course, haven't played in the playoffs since they're in different conferences, but they have played each other in the regular season, so not really much to go off of aside from just regular season games. And when they were the Supersonics, 60 wins against us against them and 51 for them. Of course, once they became the Thunder, they had Harden, Westbrook, Kevin Durant, that whole squad. So, of course, around that time in the 2010s, when they were winning more, we had one season where we were winning. So, interesting that they were able to cover just a little bit and then pull ahead by one. Goes to show. Very interesting to see. Anyway, 135 regular season games. They are one ahead of us. So, 2 games against them this coming season. It could be safe to say that the Knicks win both games, and then we getting to 69 win. That'd be great. I think they do it. I think Leon Rose and the Knicks want to do it because that's what they want to achieve. Truth be told. And who are we to fight it? Who are we to fight a milestone win record like that? So now I wanted to get into here are the stats like last time, except just a little bit when they played last time and a little bit of the time before. So we have a 1-game win streak against them. Prior to that, the Thunder had beaten us 4 times, which I remember the January game, which is a game that could have been winnable. But of course, they lost. And then we played them once in 2019-2020, and I think they could have played a second time if the schedule permitted, but COVID stopped the game. That's March 6, 2020. So this is not too far off from when everything shut down. So we're looking to kind of one up them now before the Oklahoma City Thunder become this either this super monster of talented recruits and 5-star athletes who all understand their role and can just take butts and kick names, you know. But until then, you're probably going to see a lot of it's a mixture between losing and Cinderella story-esque games, because I think the potential and the raw talent is there for that team, but they have no veterans, and they have as of right now, really it's just SGA. So who is if he isn't a closer, who is going to close? So right now it's by committee. We don't fully know until they're put in those situations, and because they have no veterans. I think Derek Favors is really their only veteran. And Favors has been that's been mostly New Jersey and Utah, so it's just sprinkles of stuff. Situational basketball. I'm curious to see how they react in situational basketball. I want to see how their kids react when it's down by 20 and slowly start to come back, because they have some tall players and they can rebound. So they get more defensive rebounds than they did offensive rebounds last season. So Can they will themselves back into the game, or will they go defeated, right? So these are the sort of things I'm thinking about when it comes to the Thunder, because they're up and coming. It's more questions right now, I think, than answers. And you're throwing that line out there on raw potential and ability, and just the fact that the beginning of this season and the beginning of next season for the Thunder, who knows what's going to happen with all the roster moves that they could potentially do with the picks that they have. Based off certain circumstances, it didn't fall well for them this season. For the draft pick, for the draft, they got 6th. When they could have, I think, gotten 5th. So, I think if I was them, and I mean, I'm not qualified to run an organization, but I see the draft and I think to myself, okay, well, we're probably going to suck this season too. We might get a little glimmer of hope. Who knows? We might even get into the play-in game if we get into the 10th, and it's just very top. The West is very strong, but maybe they could even get into a play-in. Who knows? That might be fun, Cinderella-esque, but eventually the buck will stop, and if they progress any further than what they do, it kind of feels like a sweep and blowouts. So we got to be careful with that. But learning experiences are always fun. Look at the Knicks; they were 23 wins projected, and then 41. So. Something to keep in mind for the Thunder. I want to look at the March 6, 2020 game, the season, 2 seasons prior. The COVID ending season. Although it doesn't really matter too much, there are some certain people, SGA, that I did want to see, and Dort. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'll try at some point, but I will call him Dort for the time being. Nerlens Noel. Whoa. We're going back. What did he put up? 18 minutes? Nerlens? 8 points? He's much better, I think, as a Knick now. And then this team, Maurice Harkless. A little all over the place. I think that's why Elfrid Payton kind of flew under the radar that season, because maybe it was stats like these that kind of, it's like, oh, okay, Elfrid's nice. He's given us like 17 and 7, and he's shooting 6 for 10, and hitting all his free throws. And I think once other teams picked up on that is really when he suffered. He is better, I think, on a team on the Suns with Chris Paul, where he can learn and mold himself. If he's trying to be a starting caliber point guard, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen for him. Cool. So Knicks won this game. Knicks lost this game. This was the the Hope Thunder, which I thought was nice. And now let's go into the first game of last season, January 8th. So they saw us fairly recent, because the season started late. I think sometime in December. SGA put up shake a ball, man. He put up a double-double. 9 of 14. He shoots well, shoots consistent. That's a narrative to kind of talk about. SGA's consistent shooting. Let me write that down. And I want to see if that carries over into the next game, because I think it's going to be a problem, and I think this is how Devin Booker, not literally how, but similar to Devin Booker, star player on a squad that wasn't doing much, and then out of nowhere they just build this team and draft and yada 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 yada, and then they make it to the finals. So who knows? OKC is in a better, from on paper and what we see with the eye test, and they're in a much more fortuitous, as it seems, organizational positive, or they're on the up, I would say, because of so many draft picks, and just the abilities that they have gives them good opportunities. Now, what they do with those opportunities, that's going to be up to them. Because look at the 76ers. The process started, I didn't even know, early, mid 2010s. And now we're in the 2020s, and now it's kind of just like its best part was when they had Jimmy Butler, and it sucks what happened with Kawhi in Toronto. So who knows what's going on with them? SGA, man, he's getting minutes, but I think he's there for defense. This guy, Darius Baisley, also comes to mind because he's somebody that I think has the potential to start. This guy also, it kind of slightly spoiled the Thunder are with picks because this guy's tall, and they seem to. I have Isaiah Roby, Alexei Pukushevsky, and Darius Baisley as three guys that they do want to develop. But Mike Muscala is also a center, and they also have no, what is sorry, I apologize. I'm not sure what position he is. He might be a center, but they also Isaiah Roby is also tall too. So I don't know. ESPN has him listed as as their projected starting center. I'm not sure if that's gonna how that's gonna work. SGA and then Hamidou Diallo. And here the Knicks, what did they put up? Okay, so I want to make sure RJ did not shoot well. Randall, 18 points. Had a double-double. IQ, 17 minutes. Rivers, whew, man. January, but it seems like it's so October of last year when Rivers was on the team. Quickly, I want to take a look. This is the March 13th game where we beat them. 32. How did RJ? Okay, not terrible RJ, but he needs to shoot a little bit better. Randall, really good shooting. Cool. Over 50%. IQ helped out a lot too. 9 for 16 on over 50% on 33 minutes. Not bad. Taj played, Burks played, and then that was it. So this was and then Frank only played. So it was really a six-man game. Well, that's what happens because Randall was playing most of this game. Reggie, Randall, RJ, battle the J's. No, the R's. We shot 48%, 40% from 3, and 77%. They 48, 20. Yeah, that's the thing. Although Dort free throws are really good. Not bad for him. Everyone kind of pitched in. That's what I think. See, I'm worried about this guy, Theo Maledon, because they have a lot of guards and he kind of might get lost in the shuffle. So I'm hoping that he finds a place. Al Horford's not going to be there. But they kind of seem to all pitch in. They don't have a closer. They're all very young, no vets. They don't have anybody right now that's really, as of this moment, that I could think and say quality second, consistent. SGA's 25. This person will get 17 consistently. I'm not sure. One, because I'm not a Thunder fan. Two, I don't keep up with them that much. And three, I don't see anybody on that team from how I'm looking at the roster. I'm not really seeing anybody that can score consistently like that, unless for right now. Who knows what's going to happen? In this game, we played a lot better. %, 33%, 60%, and then we really got got ahead of it which I thought was really nice. And now I want to see where we were at the 2 games. So January 8th and March 13th, where OKC was during that time. January 8th, they were going on a 3-game win streak. We were 2, and they were 500. Ooh, so they started off good and then kind of teetered off. Gets there. Once it got to about here, I think it was hope kind of lost. But then it got back. Once they got to 17 and 22. So in March, they thought that they could move up just a little bit. So this team might be a little rambunctious. And then it all just starts slipping. All just starts slipping. Which it happens. January 8th, 4-4. And then March 13th. Let's see where they were. They were 16 and 22. January 8th, March 13th. Whereas the Knicks, 5-4. So even at that point. And then March 13th, 2019. So even. We were still about the same. I would say we could be about realistic. I don't want to get too crazy on the predictions, but I would say at that point, once we get into the, in this case, it would be, since this is December, January, February, March, the 4th month, we would be thinking October, November, December, January. So around January's time. If 7 games, 8 games above 500 would be nice, ideal, cautious Knicks fan. So we were just about even. Now, let's look at Josh Giddy, see what the sitch is on this guy. Played in Australia. Let's see what we have. Giddy's a young power forward with tremendous instincts as a passer, coming off an impressive rookie year with the Adelaide 36ers in the Australian NBL. The Melbourne native emerged as a prospect in his mid-teens, earning a call to the NBA Global Academy. Lovely. Averaged 10.9 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists under Adelaide head coach and former guard Connor Henry. Listed at 6'8", so he's a tall guard, which means he can rebound well. And so Ben Simmons isn't a shooter, so I'm assuming this guy could probably give you, because the ESPN had him starting at the forward position at the 3. I don't know, maybe 9, 6, and 5 or something like that. 9, 5, and 4, depending on how many minutes he gets. Not especially long or explosive and has room to get stronger, but has tremendous size for a primary ball handler. An instinctual player with excellent vision. Giddy led the NBL in assists per game despite ranking among its youngest players. So, court vision, he's going to pass. This team is going to pass. This team is going to try to find a way to pass. And I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. Top 5 in rebounds, displayed good timing in the passing lanes. Giddy's strong feel for the game translated on the defensive end as well. This team's going to try to defend. Applying his talent as a passer prolifically as a rookie, Giddy generated almost twice as many points with his passes out of the pick and rolls than he scored himself. Generated almost twice as many points with his passes out of the pick and rolls. He posted an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.9 in the half court, showed the ability to dart long pinpoint passes to the open man, regarding defenders on the move. Manipulating defenders, playing with pace, Giddy is far more crafty than he is explosive. That's also the thing about the Warriors. The Thunder is shot creators. You can have people pass the ball. Getting layups is good, but what happens if you're continuously getting murdered in the when you're getting hurt in the mid-range game and they're stopping and popping? Because that's what IQ's going to do, even if you guys are tall. Disrupt your bigs. Since you have no vets, you can get stuck on pins if you get caught. If you get caught early, veterans will take advantage, which is why I probably think the Knicks will win both games. Although I'm not surprised if the if the Thunder win games against like the 76ers, if they win a game against them, Miami, hell, even Golden State, if they win a game against them, I wouldn't be surprised. If they win against teams like Sacramento, New Orleans, they could upset some people, especially that may not have Orlando, Chicago. I could see not having chemistry and then getting beat by a bunch of 20-somethings that are athletic freaks and played 39 minutes the game before and can come again and just running head first to the wall and learning at the same time. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder as it was prior. Now I want to look at... So that's Giddy. Let me see his defensive analyst. Making use of his size and instincts on the glass, Giddy finished the year ranked among the most productive rebounding guards in the NBL. Giving up physicality in some matchups and lacking degree of length, Giddy has room to grow in his individual. Okay. And then Tre Mann, who's their 18th pick. Giddy was their 6th pick because I think he fit well with their plan overall. I'm not sure the other guys that they wanted could fit well, but also it's just what happens. Tre Mann. He played for the Florida Gators. Top perimeter scorer and primary ball handler. Oh, poor Theo Maledon. They just got two guys that are probably going to... I think Tre Mann might be the first guy off the bench, if anything. Him and Derek Favors. And him, Derek Favors, and whatchamacallit. And Pukashevsky. So, and how tall is he? 6'5". Tall. That's a tall lineup. Turning a corner as a sophomore, the 20-year-old guard averaged 16, 5, and 3 per game, standing at 6'5", 190. Mann has terrific size for a point guard following his late guard growth spurt. Fluid athlete who can play above the rim. Some in space. He is more skilled than he is explosive. So he's going to probably rely on his fundamentals over to get his way first. So he's going to rely on his little like things that he does before he gets caught. So let's see. I would say since we're going to see them at some point, December and February, I think February's game we might be more solidified. Oh, on Valentine's Day, nice. Love is in the air. Top perimeter scorer, primary ball handler, smooth and skilled at the perimeter. Did much of his scoring on pull-ups, with over half of his possessions coming out of the ball screens. Interesting. Using the threat of his jumper to probe the lane, Mann is not particularly explosive slasher. He scored 1.10 points per shot around the rim, making huge strides. Mann still has room to get stronger with the ball and find more consistency as a shooter. Flashing the ability to contain the ball and allowing 0.63 points per one-on-one possessions. Mann has good feet defensively, but is not especially physical on the ball. Okay. So I want to see if he's good defensively, how he is on pick and rolls. Because he'll try to work with you, but he won't try to like work you and the ball. He'll just try to work you. Interesting. And this is their roster. Luguntz, Dort, defensive sort of guy. SGA. There's Derek Favors, Darius Baisley. He's a guard forward. He's a combo. Pukashevsky, who could shoot. Mike Muscala. He's also a forward that they might use as well. Tre Mann, Isaiah Roby, and Aaron Wiggins. I wonder if he's related to Andrew, and they both have 21. They're projecting, ESPN's projecting SGA, Laguntz, Giddy, Darius Baisley, and Isaiah Roby. I was thinking SGA, Giddy, Dort, Darius Baisley, and Derek Favors, just to kind of, you know, you need a veteran to kind of start. I thought that would be nice. Look at their stats just a little bit. Play around, see what I can get. Darius Baisley had 13 points last season. SGA was pretty much picking up the slack. 50% shooting. He can shoot well. Really good. SGA. Ty Jerome had 10 points last year. Theo Maledon, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. Pukashevsky, Roby. It's, man. Maybe this is a changing roster. Where the lineups will switch up. It would be nice if they, you know what would be cool? If they do one of those things where they play, aside from SGA and maybe one or two other guys that you want to roll, your other three players that start and 3 players on the bench, you play them those like 22 minutes at a time, so you're seeing what sticks, because you're really throwing anything out there. Who knows what the season could be? Definitely, most likely not ending in a championship, although it would be funny if it did. I wanted to look at leaders. No, wait, let's go to team stats really quick, because we're going to wrap up fairly soon. So last season, since we're going to play them in December and February, they scored 101 points, 106 points. Keep that in mind. Hopefully, it'll be different. And their leaders, I want to see who led them in. Yeah, that's why I think Darius Baisley is going to start at the 4, SGA maybe at the 1. Lagoon Dort, Darius Baisley so Baisley might have to guard Randall. If we might get we might get a mixture of, maybe RJ can guard SGA. That would be interesting. Tony Bradley, 66%. Mike Muscala, 91% free throws. I think that's why they're going to want to keep him a center, a big man, because of his free throw percentage. Assists per game, SGA. Ty Jerome, let's see how he kind of factors in. It's a slightly different team. Better skilled players that came in, I think. Skill players with better upside. Steals per game, he almost had 1. That's pretty cool. Blocks per game, Pukashevsky. Yeah. Pook. Tre Mann. First 2 off the bench, I would say. Now let's see 2021 and 2022. We see them before the All-Star break, but we really don't have to care about them too much. This is just to kind of beat them in the head-to-head matchup. I want to see December 31st and February 14th. For the Knicks, it's 1 home game, 1 away game. Their first game will be away. Their second game will be home. Valentine's Day. December 31st. The Knicks, So on the 21st, we have a 2-game home stretch, 21 and 23, and 25, 3-game home stretch. Then we get, so 26 and 27 would be quote unquote off. 2 games back, we get 2 back-to-backs. Let's see what happens with D Rose and Kemba here. But we go to Minnesota, Detroit, and then down to Oklahoma. And then up to Toronto. But we have a back-to-back. If we can, and this might be a loss. So if we can go win against Detroit at home, win against Washington at home, loss against Atlanta at home, beat Minnesota away, beat Detroit away, beat Oklahoma City. That's 5-1. Then we get to Toronto. Maybe we can beat Toronto. So it's not too bad of a trip, a flying trip. We do have a back-to-back, so maybe if we can reserve one of our point guards for the Toronto game and not play them too much, and then we play them February 14th. What are we doing February 14th? We come back. So February 12th? February 2nd, January 31st, 2 games home. Then we're off for 3, 4. Then we go to the Lakers on the 5th. 6th, we're off. February 7th, we have to go to Utah. Then to Denver. February 8th. A back-to-back, Utah, Denver. So not too far of a distance. 9th, we're off. 10th, we have to go to Golden State. Off the 11th. 12th, up to Portland. 13th, we come home. Maybe. So if Oklahoma City wins on the 14th, I could see how that would work based off just looking at the schedule. But the Knicks do have 14th, 16th, and then we have the All-Star break, I think. So 4-game home stretch. What about OKC at this time? December 31st. Oh, they're a little all over the place. So December 20th, away to Memphis. Then they come back home. Then they go to Phoenix, which isn't too far for them. Then they come back home. Then they go to Sacramento. Then they go to Phoenix, back-to-back. And then 2 home games, and then an away game. So I think we could beat them, because not too much is happening with them. But February 14th. Oh, they do the East Coast tour. 11, 12, 14. I think we can beat them, actually. I think we can beat them. 2 back-to-backs against these sort of teams. And then San Antonio. I don't know how San Antonio is going to be, but this is a bad stretch for them, actually. Maybe Toronto they can beat. I think they could beat Sacramento. I think they can even beat Dallas. Who knows what's going to happen with Dallas? Maybe Luka may not. Sorry. Luka may not let them. Dame may not let them, but Sacramento, they can beat OKC. Golden State, who knows what's going to happen? Toronto, they can lose to Philly, lose to Chicago, lose to New York, lose to San Antonio, lose to Phoenix, lose to Arizona. Yeah, they may even lose from December 11th to 25th. They might just lose all those games. Very interesting. So what I would say is both games for us would be wins. Based off our schedule, even though it's slightly tough, and we do have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away game West Coast stretch, and then we come back home for the 6th away West team that we play. Which means we face 6 West Coast teams. We face 6 teams in the Western Conference. 5 of them at their arenas. The last one we faced them in our arena, and then we have to go to Brooklyn right after, and then Miami, and then Philadelphia. So, I think this will be the one. Let's say, for example, we win the Sacramento game and the Memphis game, and we lose the Lakers. We could probably beat the Jazz. I'm not sure about the Nuggets. Maybe we can lose to them. Maybe we can beat the Trailblazers. OKC we can definitely beat, but then we have to go up against Brooklyn at home just a couple days later. So it would be nice if we just get up ahead on Brooklyn, on Oklahoma City in February. So that's what I think. 2 wins. 1 win for sure. I think we could pull off 2 wins to get to the most beautiful 69 wins over the Oklahoma City Thunder, formerly known as the Seattle Supersonics. Let's go. And I think they can do it.